Hi, I'm Peter Auld. We're fortunate today to interview a champion of our great club, Ray Buswell. Ray Buswell has been involved with South Bunbury Football Club since 1947. That's a total of 78 years. His commitment to South, not only as a player, but also highly regarded as a brilliant tactician. Hence why many of our past great coaches used Ray's football smarts as a selector. It was instrumental in South's many successful premiership years that Ray Buswell played such a pivotal role. Ray and his son, Ross, both won South Bunbury's reserves fairest and bests. Ray was awarded life membership of the South Bunbury Football Club in 1973. Ray is one of many very famous Buswells in the South Bunbury Football Club, including Ron, Fred, John, Arthur, Paul, Gary and Bevan, just to name a few. Up to now, 12 Buswells have been made life members of South Bunbury Football Club since 1926. Welcome, Ray Creamy Buswell.
How you going, Peter?
Good to have you here, buddy.
Good to be here.
So firstly, Ray, you are fondly known by our supporters and members by 3 nicknames. Can you please enlighten us on how they originated?
Oh,
So
yeah.
the first one, Cogger.
Well, Cogger, that come from one of my uncles. His name was Coggy, and they're all in football, South Bunbury Footy Club, and I got the name as Cogger. And then the other one was Creamy. Well, my other uncle, he used to love ice creams. He's always having an ice cream, and sometimes he'd buy me an ice cream. So therefore, I got named Creamy.
Yep.
Then we come to have a chat. Well, down at Malloy Island, we've got a caravan on site there, and a lot of the boys were down there, like Jimmy Thompson and Ian Cale and 2 or 3 others were down there, and they used to call me over, come and have a chat, come and have a chat. So I'd go and have a chat, and then I got laced with have a chat. So I named me caravan have a chat. So that's it, that's the 3 way. So my name is really Vincent Raymond Cogger Creevy have a chat Buswell.
So which one would you prefer, nickname?
Well, I don't like Vincent, never have.
I wonder why.
Well, I'll tell you why. My mother's father said he didn't like Vincent and he'll never ever in his life call me Vincent. So I was called Raymond.
Right from the start.
Right from the start, Raymond. So anyhow, that's how that happened.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing that, mate.
Okay, yep.
Ray, could you please inform our members how you came to start your 78-year association with the Mighty Tigers?
Well, I played C grade straight after the war, a couple of years after the war. The C grade, they formed C grade, and I played that, and I was coached by Sav Davies. And we were fortunate enough that we won the C grade premiership then.
Yep.
And there were people, what played was Malcolm Cowdrey, Lance Hislop, Joe Hasty, Dinky Gibson, players like that.
Yep.
And they all stuck to together and went on playing B grade and stuff. And in 1950 or what, but anyhow, they went up to B grade, and I was younger than them because they couldn't stay down. So therefore, I put my age up.
So you lied about your age?
Oh yeah, I'm a great believer of not breaking rules but bending them.
Yeah, and things haven't changed.
No, they haven't changed right till today, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I went up there and we played, and in 1950 I was very lucky enough to win the whole association seconds, fairest and best with Clem Owens, the Clem Owens medal.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened in 1951. Anyhow, 1952 I ended up winning the association fairest and best again, Clem Owens medal.
Yep.
And also won the club fairest and medal.
Yep.
And I had a good time. Yeah.
And had some early success.
Oh, very lucky, very lucky. I won it on the last boat On 1952, I won it on the last game and got top votes. Other than that, if I didn't get the top votes, I wouldn't have won it.
It was never in doubt though.
No.
No. No worries. Ray, you also coach sides to premierships and have helped develop many of South's past champions.
Yes, I was very fortunate. In 1962 and 1963, I coached the Colts, which they are today.
Yep.
Colts, to two premierships on both years.
Yep.
And I had, people like Brent Craven, Sport Buswell, Sid Jackson, Terry George, all those players, Alan Prosser, they all played in the under-18s.
Yep.
And we both won both premierships. And then we went up to Perth for what they call the Burleigh Shield.
Yep.
And it was with all the country teams and West Perth, East Perth combined when we got there and found out that they had to put a team in like that. So we ended up getting beaten by a couple of goals, but the next year I went to the Junior Association and asked could I be the sole selector and take them up next year because I reckon I could beat them.
Yep.
So we picked up Ross Brown and another ruckman in Ransom, young Ransom, Ron Ransom. And we went up there and they nullified their ruck and we ended up winning by about 1-3 or something like that.
Yep. Yep.
And after the game, every Perth team, West Perth, East Perth, the whole lot, had representatives in there interviewing our players, you know.
Trying to pinch them.
Yeah, well, I had to stop it because in those days you weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I would have copped it.
Yeah.
But anyhow, a lot of those players played league in Perth.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
And because you know all about Sid Jackson, he
Yeah.
ended up playing with Carlton and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
we had some very, very good players.
So good memories there.
Oh yeah, very good memories.
Yep.
And then I went on to coach down here the seconds team. Well, I thought I'll go up and have a go at the seconds.
Yep.
And anyhow, we got to the grand final, but we got stitched up. But that's all I'll say about that. I'm not very happy at all about that game.
Still after all these years. So Ray, during your career, you've played under many great coaches. As I named them, could you please comment on some of their attributes?
Well, the first one, it was just after the war and that was Ivor Robinson.
Yeah.
And he was a technician, and I learned a lot from him. I was very fortunate that, I don't know why, but I always listened to the coaches and always wanted to know why they made moves and all this sort of business.
Yep.
And he was a very good technician. And then Bill Colgan, he was a good technician too, you know. And I don't know why I got on very well with Bill. And I remember one day we won the match and we're having a social and he came up to me and he said, "You'd be happy now, Ray, we won that." I said, "Yeah." He said, "What, you're not happy?" And I said, "Yeah, but why did you ship Kalamelovich?" I said, "From a half-back flank." I said, "He was the best man on the ground in the first half." He said, "Yeah, he was too." But I said, "Only 10 minutes into the third quarter, you shifted him." He said, "I thought you were better than that, Ray." He said, "Did you notice that bloke got 2 or 3 kicks on him straight away?" He said, "He couldn't go on like that for 4 quarters, so I shifted him to the half-forward flank and he ended up kicking 2 goals. I thought, my God, Father. Anyhow, that's Bill, but he's a very hard coach, Bill.
Yeah.
He did muck around.
Yep.
He did muck around. And then there was Merv Kennedy. Merv was a very hard coach.
Yeah.
He demanded things. He really did demand things. And yes, I learned a little bit from him. And then there was John DiPiazzi. I felt he was a very hard coach as well.
Yeah.
John and I got on very well, I think I didn't say much, and that's what John liked, to just keep your mouth shut, you know, because I'd be standing with John nearly all the time, and I didn't comment, you know, unless he asked me, you know.
Yeah.
And he used to come around every Friday discussing the team, because I was out of selector then. I was put on as a proxy selector,
Yep.
so that we could discuss these.
Yeah.
And on Mondays he'd come around if we win or drew or lost or what. We come and discuss the sides and stuff, and what we need and what we didn't need, you know.
So you analysed
So I had
the
a
game.
wonderful time with John. Yeah, had a
Yeah.
wonderful time with John. That's about it. There was another coach we had. He was okay. It was Len Ganfield. People probably wouldn't remember him.
Yeah.
Very good player. Played centre half forward for South in those days, just after the war.
Yeah. What about Terry House?
Well, I was coming to Terry. Terry wasn't a hard man,
No.
but he was a good coach. But Terry didn't have the cattle, and that's not no excusing. In the game today, everybody who's played the game and every coach, you've got to have the cattle.
Yeah.
Then it's up to the coach to mould a team.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and Terry House, I mean, later on I'll talk about Terry House. He's
Yep.
right up there with me, Terry House.
As a
He's
player.
right up there
Yeah.
with me.
And what?
And I was on selection with Terry House.
Yeah.
And then he didn't have the cattle, and then eventually he went to Brunswick,
Yeah.
and he won a premiership at Brunswick, Terry.
Yeah.
I followed his football career right through. But later on I might have something to say about Terry.
Yeah. And Doug Peake, you worked with Doug
Oh
Peake?
yes, I was with Doug Peake, yeah. We were very, very close, Doug Peake and me. Because we only lived 2 doors away from each other as well,
Yeah.
you know. And yes, I think it was about 5 years with Doug.
Yeah.
And we I don't know if we won 1 or 2 premierships. I know we won in 76, I
Yeah.
think.
And you won in 68 as well, 1968.
Yeah, I thought we won
Yeah.
2, yeah.
But 76 is
Yeah.
the one that stands out for me.
And we should have won another one.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not treading on toes, I won't mention names. But I was with another selector, of course, and we're only 1 goal 3 in front or something, and I went to send the runner out. We had it down near the goals, and no short passing, and it wasn't coming unstuck. And I sent the runner out, I think it was Tommy Trickle, to say, tell Doug to kick the ball long. And the runner went to go out, and the other selector said, oh, don't panic, he said, we've only got a few minutes to go. And I said, oh, well, come back. You wouldn't read about it. They went for a short pass. They went up and got the goal, come and bounced it, went to the half-forward flank, and they got it and kicked a long goal, and they won.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my uncle told me, old Tud Buswell, if you're going to take on coaching, whenever you think of doing something, do it straight away, because in a couple of minutes' time it's too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's other times the same thing had happened with one of the games.
Yeah.
They won games because you'd done it straight away.
Yeah. If you like. So in 1976, which is a famous grand final victory for South Bunbury,
Yeah.
after Harvey Brunswick had beaten us in the qualifying games.
Yes,
and also,
yes, I remember that.
Yep.
I remember that.
There was a move apparently you made
yeah,
in the
yeah.
76 grand final.
Yeah, I think it was Harvey Brunswick. And we turned around, and this full back, he just marked everything. I think it was Warburton or something.
I think it was Kevin Warburton. Yeah, good player.
Marked everything.
Yep.
And we had Ken Coulson was our full forward, and he was a reasonable good forward, not outstanding. So this bloke would mark the ball left, right and centre. So we had to do something about it, and I thought, well, we can't take him out. We can't take him out. So we've got to do something. So we turned around and made Ken a dummy, and he used to lead out to the left-hand side or the right-hand side and take the full back with him, and they kicked long, the players kicked long to a person called Peter Old, because he was in the forward pocket. And Peter kicked 2 or 3 goals. So at half time, we're about 4 in front, And Doug said to me, gee, that's working well. He said, yeah, we'll leave it like it. No, I said, don't leave it like it, Doug. I said, because they woke up to it now. I said, they'll either put to Wobnett on Peter Old, or I said, he'll stay back. I said, now let the full forward go out, and he won't follow him.
Yep.
Anyhow, Coulson kicked 2 goals in this last half, or it might have been 3, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that came from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That move by Ivor Robinson,
Yeah.
30 years ago. It was in my Brocker.
Yeah.
You know, so...
And it came to fruition. And I better put it out there too, because Kimmy Chester did kick 5 goals. He was playing in the other
I
forward
forgot
pocket.
about Kimmy,
Yeah.
He kicked 5 goals in that pocket,
Yeah.
where the ball was going in wrong. And when it come to the ground, Kimmy would pick it up. A very good kick, Kimmy.
Yeah. Beautiful. Ray enjoyed being the underdog and was instrumental in his tactical moves to ensure a South victory against the odds. One such move has become folklore in the history of South. Once again, the 1976 Grand Final, Ray, which was coached by Doug Peake, as we said, versus Harvey Brunswick. Ray played a pivotal role in assisting Doug to defeat Harvey Brunswick.
Yeah.
Ray orchestrated the move of Olish Cow, who had played in the back pocket all year, into the centre to play on Terry House to curtail his brilliance.
Yeah.
Ray, can you please let us know how you went about?
Well, first of all, I went out to Brunswick to watch Harvey Brunswick. I forget who they were playing. And we taped the game, as we mainly taped Terry and seen what his game plan was.
Yep.
And he'd nearly always go into the back line and receive the ball from half backs and back pockets and feed it to the getter and so on to Leroy and stuff like that. And that was the plan. So we had to stop that flow of football. And naturally we weren't going to take Terry out or go for him. That's not my plan anyhow.
Yeah.
And so we played that to the players, because the previous game of them, they won by 6 goals and beat us.
Yep.
And this is why I don't like it, but I don't mind being the underdog.
Yep.
Because when you're underdog, you're forced to do something.
Yep.
You're forced to do moves, this is my idea, or change players or anything. You had to do something. So anyhow, we're playing, I forget who it was, might have been Donnybrook or someone, in the final to get back at Harvey Brunswick. And so we looked like beating them, and the third quarter we decided somebody's got to go on house next week, because the game was nearly all over at 3/4 time. And Doug said, we've got to do something about Terry. I said, yes, definitely. I said, he'll have to be tagged. He said, yeah. He said, just a matter who we're going to tag. And I said, well, Olish Cow, I was in the fire brigade, a life member of fire brigade, and I said, he's the fastest man in Western Australia.
Mm.
He said, that's who it'll be. He said, I'll tell you what, he said, I'll take Sheriff up and give him a run on the wing to make him feel like he's played a bit up ground, because he played forward pocket all the time. So that's about what happened about it. And the following Sunday, there were that many people coming up to me and Doug, and who's playing centre, who's playing on out here. How it was kept secret, was very good.
Yep.
So we played him on Terry, and it was just too fast for Terry.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry's a brilliant footballer, but it was just too fast.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting quite a few kicks himself, but he ended up winning the Pike medal.
Yeah.
And we ended up winning by 6 goals.
Yeah.
So it was a 12-goal turnaround.
Yeah. Great victory.
So these things can happen if you do something. You've got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I don't mind being an underdog.
Yep.
I mean, when you're not an underdog and you go in favourite, you turn things around, because they are planning the same thing what I'm talking, or should be, against you, and you won't change your team.
Yeah. because you're winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's about the story of Olish. You know, it was
Yeah.
one of the great moves of football. You know, with and playing on a brilliant player like Terry.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was a memorable win, 1976.
It
Remember
was
it
a
well.
memorable win. I still can't get up.
Okay, Ray. During your football career, you have seen many champion players.
Yeah.
Can you please name some of the greatest players of all time at South in your view? And can you please say a few words about them?
Yes. Ted Hoskins. I'll start a way back.
Yep.
Ted Hoskins would be the best centre forward I've ever seen. He went up and played up in Perth. I don't think it was East Perth and that, but he wouldn't stay.
No.
And I've seen him kick 70, it was all drop kicks. Once
Yep.
he was on the run for the drop kick, it was all over.
Yeah, yeah.
And unbelievable drop kick. And then there's Ron, my brother. He eventually, they got him to go to Perth, and because he used to get homesick, he played. People don't know this, but
No.
I was there. I was there all the time as a young kid, everywhere.
Yep.
And when we went up there, we didn't know. Dad and I took him up there, and he ended up. The secretary came along and said, you know, we didn't have a photo of him to put on the program. He said, but anyhow, the Sandover medal came out. He played 3 games up there. That's all he
Yeah.
played. He got 2 firsts and a second
Yeah.
in the first 3 games playing up there.
Yeah.
And him and Ray Teed went up, and then Ray Teed wanted to come home, and you didn't have to ask Ronnie twice.
Yeah.
And they came home, which was a shame, really. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were the 2 way back, you know. And then the sort of local type of ones was Sid Jackson and Terry House. Well, they were the 2 best players I've seen. They're well balanced and they were pretty to watch and everything, you
Yeah.
know. And because you went and have a look at them, they won 4 Hobart medals between them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you couldn't say much more than they were brilliant. They were.
Yeah.
But Terry, he was very balanced, very, very good player. And
Yeah.
me coaching him when he was only a kid, and we used to have to hide him in the forward pocket, and sometimes we didn't play him because we thought the team was too strong and we might get hurt. And one day, I don't know the umpire, but I must have known him at the time, went up to him, I said, hey, look after the young bloke in the forward pocket. And he said, yeah, leave it to me, you know.
Yeah.
I said, we were very worried about Terry at the time. And then to follow his football career right through and what he's done, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
really is, you
Yeah.
know. And because we all know about Sid, he went right out to over to Carlton and played, you know.
Yeah.
And I coached him in the under-18s.
Yeah.
And I think he was 16 or 17 or something. He won the Hayes medal. I think he won 2 Hayes medals.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So then there was Leon Baker. He was pretty to watch.
Yeah.
He didn't have a lot. He didn't need a lot of speed. He just dodged and ducked and dived and. You know,
Yeah.
it was wonderful to watch. A lot of people come to see him play football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to see him play football.
Yeah.
He was a crowd pleaser.
Yep.
And then there was Bruce Crabb. Old Brucey used to get more free kicks around the neck than anybody. They get him around the waist, and he ended up around his neck. You know. So Bruce, he was excellent. He was excellent.
He was ahead of his time with that getting the free kick
Yeah,
there around the neck.
because there was also Wayne Watterson and yourself, Peter. In their era, they had a lot of combination. One was a ruckman, one was a rover.
Yep.
As simple as that, you know. And they just knew each other what they were thinking half the time.
Still do. Still do, Cream.
That'd be right. That could be right. Yeah, that could be right. And then because there's the record game player, and Ian Cole.
Yeah,
you
Sheriff.
know. So you've got to put him in amongst the best players. He played all those years,
Yep.
and he was only taken off the ground once, and he was not happy about that. When we put Ollie Cowell on in place of him in the last quarter, he came up to us after the game to Doug Peake and I, and he said, "What are you doing, taking me off? I had so many kicks," he said. So Doug said to me, "Listen here, you're playing in the grand final, and so get that." Oh, good. Righto.
That was the end of that.
That was the end of Ted. The end of Ian. Yeah. So that's about as much as I can go. You know.
No, that's
You can go on. You can go on a lot. We had a lot of good footballers.
Absolutely. Through our history.
Over my time.
Yep. Through our history, we've had a lot of good footballers.
Teams, a lot of good. I can remember, just to give you an idea, how strong the team was. I was playing league one day, playing with Mines Rovers, I think it was, and I kicked eight goals, and Teddy Hoskins kicked 8 goals.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, yeah, that's wonderful. I'll get the paper come out, I'll get a best player.
Yeah.
They only named 6 players, but I didn't get in.
Yep. So finally, Ray, can you please tell the listeners the significant role you played in getting the great Sid Jackson to the football club?
Well, there was a chap named Malcolm Bryce, who was going to the high school, who ended up in parliamentarian anyhow. But anyhow, we were playing an under-18s game, and he said, "There's a chap at school, the high school, he's very good, he's an Aboriginal and that." We said, "Oh, Bryce, you've always got some of these good players coming along and mucking around, you know." I said, "All right, send him out on Saturday, if you can." And he said, "No, they can't come out. You've got to get permission from the manager who runs Roland Mission." So anyhow, this chap used to come in, the manager called Cross, and I approached him, and he said, "No." He said, "If he comes in, you have to have somebody with him."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I'm prepared to go out and pick them up." And he said, "Yeah, well, that's okay, as long as you bring the 2 of them in and bring them home."
Yeah.
So I brought him in, and Sydney was playing, he was playing really, really great, marking everything. And Terry, he was sitting beside us, and we're saying how good he is, and he said, "Hey man, I can play better than him."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, Terry, I'll come out next week." "Yeah, you're all right, bring your boots." So he came out, and he was better than him. In some cases, he was a high flyer, little bloke, high flyer, wonderful. And he ended up playing with Subiaco for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, so
Terry George. And he only had one eye.
Yes, yeah.
And then Sid, well, he ended up going over to playing with East Perth. I think he was leading in the last game or second last game.
Sandover Medal.
It's Sandover Medal, yeah. And he got reported, and therefore he could win the Sandover Medal. So, and then Terry George, he gave the game away. And one day here, I'll tell you, we're watching the seconds, and Ivor Robinson was the coach at that time. He'd come back and coaching us. And along over the ground comes this young Aboriginal bloke with his boots tied to the laces over his neck. He comes over, and how he got the name Gilgy, Robbie used to get him to get Gilgies out at Rollins, so he'd go down brimp fishing down with Blackwood. And he said, "Hey Gilgy, what are you doing? Where you been? Haven't seen you for a couple of years, you know." He said, "Oh, that's all right, Robbie." He said, "I'll play today." He said, "You can't play today." "Yes, I can." "No," he said, "You can't play today." He said, "I'm better than some of them out there."
Yeah.
He said, "No." That's it. And he was better than some of them out there too. Yeah. But anyhow, and Sid went to Carlton and played underneath Barassi and stuff like that.
Yeah, 1-2
Barassi wouldn't let him fly for the ball. He had to stay on the ground.
Yeah.
And get the crumbs and stuff like that, you know. So, and then Sid is still now, I think he runs the Rollins Mission.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he does run the Rollins Mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, we often see Sid.
Yeah. Okay, so we're winding it up now, Ray. So
Yeah, I've done enough yapping, I think.
Oh, thanks so much for your interview today, Ray. Really appreciate you taking the time and telling your story today. So thank you very much.
Yes.
So,
I thank you. I've enjoyed it very, very much.
So to all our members, I'd just like to inform you that the Buswell football name will be carried on at our great club with Ray and Audrey and grandsons Leon and Matt, who are both coaching South Bunbury Juniors at the moment, with both teams on top.
Yeah.
Their great-grandson Noah, Lockie and Archie are very talented players, along with their other great-grandson, Van Edwards.
Yes.
Absolutely. Who is also in the red and white colours.
Yeah.
So certainly an exciting period ahead still for the Buswell family, for the legacy to continue, Ray.
Yeah.
So-
I conned a lot of them.
Well, they're all playing for the red and whites now, so thank you once again, Ray, and CD Nellis.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Very much appreciated.
Yep, loved it.